The morning sun drips down like honey, casting a golden sheen over the quiet, suburban street. The neighborhood is exactly what it appears to be, a collection of immaculately kept lawns, white picket fences, and sidewalks that could have been ripped straight from a postcard. Birds chirp softly, and the faint hum of lawnmowers cuts through the peaceful hum of a Saturday morning. I stand on my porch, sipping from a chipped coffee mug that's seen better days. But it's mine, and it feels like home. The air smells like fresh-cut grass, mixed with a faint, almost imperceptible scent of someone's barbecue from 2 blocks down. Life feels simple here, almost like a dream. But it's a dream that only a few of us are allowed to live in. I adjust the collar of my faded sweatshirt, which is now a permanent fixture on me in the mornings, and step off the porch, watching the neighborhood unfold around me. Across the street, the Lambert family's golden retriever prances around their manicured lawn, its tail wagging in time with the neighbors' gossip. Mrs. Lambert waves over at me, her smile as artificial as the blooming roses on her front lawn. I wave back, but it's a little more stiff than it should be. I know that smile. It's the same one she's given me since I moved in last year, polite but distant. It's not her fault, really. In a neighborhood like this, polite is all anyone expects. I'm Vanessa Clark, the only black woman on the block, and while nobody ever says it, I feel the difference every day. People are civil, but not friendly. They speak to me as if I'm a neighbor they've forgotten to acknowledge, but they never invite me over for coffee or neighborhood barbecues. The subtext is there, tucked between the pleasantries, the way their eyes linger a little too long when they think I'm not looking, the way their tone shifts just slightly when they greet me. This morning, though, something feels different. The air has an edge to it, a thin, almost imperceptible hum that sets my nerves on edge. I can't put my finger on it, just a whisper of something off. I chalk it up to an overactive imagination and continue walking down the sidewalk. My shoes scuff against the pavement, and I pass the usual homes, all identical in their whitewashed splendor, save for mine. It's modest, small, but well kept. The paint on my house isn't as pristine as some of my neighbors, and the garden beds are a bit overgrown, but it's home. It's real. The way I like it. A car pulls into the driveway next door, a sleek black sedan that I've never seen before. The driver, a woman in oversized sunglasses, steps out with that unmistakable air of authority, tall, thin, and wearing the kind of outfit that says I belong here, without saying a word. She glances at my house as she walks up the driveway, her eyes narrowing just slightly, but it's enough for me to feel the shift. She doesn't wave or greet me. No, that would be too simple. Instead, she pushes open the gate of the immaculate house across the street, the Delaney mansion. Clarissa Delaney. The woman is as much of a fixture in this neighborhood as the HOA itself. She's the type who wears her power like a second skin, making sure everyone knows she's the one who runs this neighborhood. The other neighbors may bow and scrape, but I don't have that luxury. I'm still the new girl, and in a place like this, that's enough to keep you on the outside. I watch her disappear behind the gates of her mansion, but something about the way she eyed my house lingers. That small, calculating look. I try to shake it off, but a knot forms in my stomach, and I can't ignore the feeling that the calm is about to break. The first sign that something is off comes 3 days later. Mrs. Delaney, Clarissa, as I've come to know her, makes her presence known at my doorstep again. The click of her heels against the pavement echoes in my mind long before I even see her, a sound that promises something I won't like. She's standing in front of my porch, her posture perfect, her face a mask of forced civility. She smiles, but the coldness behind her eyes is impossible to ignore. "Good morning, Vanessa," she says, her voice too sweet, like the fake sugar some people put in their coffee. "I trust you're well?" I nod, holding the doorframe for a little extra support. She's always like this, so polite that it feels rehearsed, like she's trying to mask something beneath the surface. I don't trust people who can smile like that and still make you feel like you've been pegged as the problem before they even speak. "Yes, I'm good, thank you," I reply, careful not to let any emotion slip through. I've learned that in this neighborhood, being anything less than perfect is a liability. "I hope you don't mind me saying," she begins, tilting her head ever so slightly as though considering her words. I noticed your lawn could use a little attention. We've had a few complaints from the association. Complaints. The word hangs in the air, like an accusation wrapped in politeness. I feel my pulse quicken, but I force a smile. I know what this is. The HOA. They've been coming after me since I moved in. The letters, the warnings, too many plants in the yard, too many decorations that don't fit the neighborhood aesthetic. It's exhausting. And now, Clarissa is here, to make sure I'm aware that I don't quite fit in. I've been meaning to get to it, I say, but the words sound weak in my mouth, like a defense I shouldn't have to make. Thank you for the feedback. Her smile doesn't waver, but I catch the flicker of satisfaction in her eyes before it's masked by that carefully constructed mask. She's enjoying this. This is her domain, and I'm an outsider. The quiet battle has already begun, and I'm losing ground. You know, she continues, her voice oozing with that same faux sweetness, the neighborhood is all about maintaining harmony. You wouldn't want to upset the other homeowners, would you? There's a sense of order that we all work to preserve. I'm sure you understand. I'm not blind. I know exactly what she's saying. The other homeowners she's talking about? They look like her. They belong here, or so they think. People like me? We're anomalies. Invaders in their perfect little world. I nod, trying to swallow the growing frustration. I'll take care of it. She smiles again, as if she's done her duty, her words hanging in the air like a veil over something darker. I'm sure you will, she says, turning on her heel and walking back toward her immaculate house. Have a lovely day. I stand there, staring at her retreating figure, and for the first time, the unease I've been carrying starts to crystallize into something more tangible. This isn't just about the lawn. It never was. Over the next few days, more little things start to add up. The letters from the HOA get more frequent, and the suggestions become more pointed. Warnings about my plants again, about my choice of fencing, about the way my house doesn't quite fit the neighborhood's vision. But it's the comments I overhear from my neighbors, the ones who still haven't bothered to truly talk to me, that really begin to trouble me. At the grocery store, I catch a snippet of conversation between two of them. Did you see what the Delaney's are doing next door? One woman says. I heard they're throwing a big event. A wedding, I think. You know, something to bring the neighborhood back to where it belongs. Where it belongs, I repeat silently, the phrase stinging with more meaning than the woman could ever know. Clarissa is playing the game now. She's solidifying her position as the queen bee, and I'm just a thorn in her side. Every day that passes, the pressure builds. Each small act, each thinly veiled comment, each look that lasts just a little too long, starts to feel like a tightening noose. I can't prove anything yet, but it's clear. This isn't just about aesthetics. This is about power, about who belongs and who doesn't. And I'm starting to realize that the neighborhood's order isn't just about lawns and fences. It's about keeping people like me in their place. A low hum of unease grows louder with each passing hour. Something is coming, and I'm not sure I'll be able to stop it. The first real confrontation comes a week later, when I'm out in my front yard, trimming the edges of the overgrown rose bushes. The air is thick with humidity, and I can feel the sweat starting to bead down my back. I'm trying to focus on the task at hand, trying to ignore the weight of the stares from the houses around me. I can't help but notice the flicker of curtains, the faint rustle of blinds moving just enough to let someone peek out. I'm being watched. Again. But I've grown used to it. It's only when the sound of an approaching car draws my attention that I realize it's not just any car, it's Clarissa's. That sleek black sedan pulls into the driveway next door, its tires biting into the gravel with a harsh screech. My stomach clenches, a knot of frustration tightening in my gut. I set the shears down and wipe my hands on my jeans, bracing myself. I know what's coming. Clarissa steps out, her usual immaculate self, her sunglasses perched on her nose like a crown. She pauses, adjusts her blouse, and then strides across the grass toward me, her heels clicking against the pavement. I don't wait for her to speak this time. I'm done waiting for her to pull the strings behind my back. I'm ready to confront her head-on. Clarissa, what's going on? I ask, cutting straight to the point. What's with all the complaints from the HOA? She smiles, but this time it's thin, tight, almost a grimace. Vanessa, I thought we'd already discussed this. Her voice is sweet but edged with something colder, something more cutting. The neighborhood association has a responsibility to make sure the community stays in line. And while I understand that you may not have had a chance to adjust to the neighborhood standards, I think it's time to address these issues seriously. I meet her eyes, trying not to let my growing anger spill over. I've always taken care of my property. You know that. These issues, they're petty. They're a way to push me out. Clarissa's smile doesn't falter. I'm sure you don't mean it that way. But rules are rules, Vanessa. We can't just let anyone come in and disrupt the harmony of the neighborhood. She pauses for effect, her gaze lingering on my house for a second too long. You're not exactly fitting in, are you? The words hit me like a slap. Not exactly fitting in. She's not even trying to hide it anymore. I force my fists to unclench at my sides, taking a deep breath. Clarissa, I say, my voice quieter now, a dangerous calm lacing my words. You've been targeting me since I moved in, and I'm done being polite about it. The HOA is using you to make my life miserable. This isn't just about some flower beds or the color of my fence. It's about control. Power. She stares at me, unblinking, her mask of civility never slipping. You're being paranoid, she says, her tone dismissive. This isn't about you. It's about what's best for the community. And if you can't see that, well, maybe it's time to reconsider whether this is the right place for you. Her words hang in the air like poison, seeping into every crack in my resolve. I can feel the heat rising in my chest. It's not just a neighborhood dispute anymore. It's a fight for my place here, for my right to exist without fear. But Clarissa is a master manipulator, and she knows exactly how to twist the knife, how to make it sound like she's doing me a favor, even as she cuts me down. I hold her gaze for a moment longer, weighing my options. There's no reasoning with her. She believes she's untouchable. But she doesn't know what I'm capable of. Not yet. The next day, I start digging into the HOA's records. I visit the community center, pretending to browse through some flyers for local events, but I'm actually tracking down the paperwork for the association's rules and regulations. I spend hours combing through the records, cross-referencing old complaints, and even chatting with a few residents who've been around long enough to remember what things were like before Clarissa came to power. It's not long before I find what I'm looking for: inconsistencies. The HOA has been selective with its enforcement. Complaints against my neighbors have mysteriously disappeared, while mine are always escalated to a full investigation. The rules are being bent, manipulated to suit Clarissa's agenda. I'm not just a target because of my house. I'm a target because of my skin. I print out the documents and begin to gather evidence. I need more. And that's when I realize I can't do this alone. That night, I go over to the corner bar, a dive tucked behind the grocery store, where a few of the older residents go to unwind. I spot Dave, the mechanic who lives 3 streets over. He's always been friendly enough, though I've never had a real conversation with him. But tonight, I need a favor. Hey, Dave, I say, sliding into the booth across from him. He looks up from his beer and gives me a nod. Vanessa, what's up? I need your help, I say, lowering my voice. I've been having some issues with the HOA. I think they're targeting me. I need someone who's been here longer, someone who knows how they operate. His brow furrows. The HOA, huh? He looks around, then leans in. Clarissa Delaney has been running things for years. That woman, she doesn't take kindly to anyone who doesn't fit her mold. You're not the first one she's gone after. But you might be the one who finally exposes her. I'm stunned. You've seen this before? He nods. I've seen it all. It's not just about lawns, Vanessa. It's about control. And race. People like you, they don't get to move into places like this without a fight. The weight of his words hits me like a punch to the gut. This isn't just my fight. This is bigger than me. You've got my back? I ask, a fire beginning to kindle in my chest. He gives me a small, reassuring smile. I've got your back. Let's take her down. It's a start. But as I leave the bar, the stakes feel higher. Clarissa's reign won't go down quietly. This fight isn't just about property lines. It's about everything we've all been pretending isn't happening. And it's about to explode. The day of the meeting arrives, a community gathering that's supposed to be a routine HOA discussion. The kind of meeting that's always a formality, where everyone nods along, quietly resenting the rules they've agreed to follow. But today is different. Today, the stakes are higher. I'm armed with the evidence I've been gathering, and it's time to put it all on the table. I walk into the community center, the low hum of conversation echoing around me. The large room is filled with folding chairs arranged in neat rows, and at the front, Clarissa stands with her usual air of authority, ready to begin the meeting. Her eyes catch mine as I enter, and a small, almost imperceptible smile plays at the corner of her lips. She knows what she's done. She knows I've been gathering information, but she still thinks she's untouchable.
She's wrong.
I take my seat, my heart thudding in my chest, but I keep my face calm, my eyes steady. The other neighbors filter in slowly, their whispers becoming a dull murmur, but I'm focused. This isn't about the small things anymore, the garden, the fence, the complaints. It's about something bigger, something that's been brewing beneath the surface for too long. And I won't back down.
Not now.
Clarissa calls the meeting to order, her voice commanding, as always. "Thank you all for coming," she says, her tone smooth and polished. As we all know, the Neighborhood Association is committed to maintaining the values of our community. We'll be discussing various updates, but first, I'd like to address some concerns that have been raised recently. Specifically, the issue of property standards. There have been multiple complaints about several homes in the area. My stomach clenches. I know exactly where this is going. I brace myself as Clarissa flips through a stack of papers, her fingers lingering on a sheet that's clearly marked with my name. "Vanessa Clark," she says, and her voice drips with a false sweetness. "We've had repeated complaints about the condition of your property. Your lawn, your fencing, the decorations, all of it. I think we can all agree, Vanessa, that these issues are no longer just minor concerns. I feel the weight of everyone's eyes on me, but I stand tall, not giving her the satisfaction of seeing me falter. The murmurs from the crowd rise as they all turn toward me. The subtle judgment. The whispers. They're all part of the game she's playing, the way she manipulates the neighborhood to isolate me. I don't speak immediately. I'm waiting. Clarissa continues, her voice smooth as she piles on the accusations. "This has gone on long enough," she says, eyes gleaming with the satisfaction of what she believes will be a final victory. "The HOA has given you more than enough chances to fix these issues. It's clear that you have no intention of complying with our standards. And frankly, it's becoming disruptive. I'm afraid it's time to take more serious action." Her tone hardens, and I can see the familiar arrogance in her eyes, the certainty that this is her moment to crush me, to put me in my place once and for all. The power she's wielding, the influence she's earned in this neighborhood, is hers to control. She doesn't believe for a second that I have anything to counter her. But she's wrong. I stand slowly, feeling the eyes of the room on me. The air seems thicker now, heavier. There's a moment of tense silence before I speak. "I've heard enough, Clarissa," I say, my voice steady, but there's an edge to it. A promise she's not expecting. "You want to talk about disruption? Let's talk about how you've been manipulating the HOA to target me. Let's talk about how the complaints against my property have been exaggerated and how complaints against others, your friends, have mysteriously disappeared." Her expression falters for a split second, and in that moment, I know I have her. The confidence she's been projecting starts to crack. But she's not backing down yet. Not completely. She folds her arms across her chest and raises an eyebrow, her smile thin. "You're accusing me of manipulating the HOA? How dare you?" I pull out the folder I've been carrying with me, the stack of documents I've painstakingly gathered over the last few weeks. The room goes quiet as I place it on the table in front of me, the sound of the folder hitting the surface like a drumbeat. The murmurs in the room quiet down, replaced by a tense anticipation. Clarissa's face tightens as I slide the papers toward the center of the table. "Here's what you don't know, Clarissa," I continue, my eyes never leaving hers. I've been digging into the HOA's records, and I've found proof, that you've been selectively enforcing the rules. There are multiple instances where complaints against my neighbors have been swept under the rug, while my property has been under constant scrutiny. Why do you think that is? I take a breath, letting the weight of my words sink in. It's because of who I am, and I'm done pretending I don't see it. Clarissa's lips press into a thin line, her facade cracking. She knows I've caught her, and for a brief moment, I can see her control slipping. But she's not ready to give up. Not yet. You think this will change anything? She spits, her voice laced with venom now. You think anyone will believe you? You think they'll believe you? She gestures to the crowd, her gaze sweeping across the room. I'm the one who has kept this neighborhood in line. I'm the one who ensures order. But I'm not done. Not by a long shot. Actually, I'm not alone in this, I say calmly, a small smile playing at the corner of my lips. I have witnesses, several, who've seen how you've manipulated things behind the scenes. I've spoken with people who've been too afraid to speak out until now. They're ready to testify. And I've spoken to a lawyer. So, let's see just how long your order lasts when the truth comes to light. The silence in the room is suffocating. Clarissa's eyes widen, and for the first time, she looks unsure of herself. The mask has slipped. The facade is gone. You're bluffing, she snaps, but there's a tremor in her voice. I can see the desperation now, the realization that she might lose everything she's built. You can't prove anything. You'll regret this, Vanessa. I shake my head, my voice calm but unwavering. It's not a bluff. You've been playing this game for too long, but it's over now. Clarissa opens her mouth to respond, but before she can, a hand shoots up from the back of the room. It's Dave, the mechanic who'd helped me gather information, standing tall with a defiant expression on his face. I'll testify, he says firmly, his voice cutting through the tension. Everything she's saying is true. I've seen it. I've lived it. The room gasps, the shock palpable. It's the first crack in Clarissa's control. I can see the fear in her eyes now, the realization that the walls she's built are crumbling. It's happening. The truth is finally breaking through. Clarissa's once unshakable confidence crumbles the moment Dave speaks. His voice, steady and resolute, carries weight, but it's not just the words he's saying, it's the way the room shifts. There's a murmur, a ripple of uncertainty among the gathered neighbors, like a cloud passing over a sun-drenched field. Clarissa looks like she's been slapped, her perfect composure faltering. For a split second, she's no longer the woman in charge. She's just a person who has been caught. Dave, she begins, but her voice shakes, and she cuts herself off. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water. It's the first sign that she's losing control. I've seen you push people around for years, Clarissa, Dave continues, his voice carrying in a room. I've lived here longer than most of these people, and I know exactly how you've operated. It's not just about the lawn, is it? It's about power, about keeping everyone in line. But you've gone too far this time. The crowd stirs. Whispers swirl around the room like an electric charge. Some people glance at each other, processing the truth as it unfolds before them, while others sit frozen, unsure of how to react. There's something exhilarating about seeing Clarissa, the queen of this little kingdom, unraveling before everyone's eyes. Clarissa stares at Dave, her jaw clenched, her eyes narrowed in fury. But she doesn't speak. She can't. The truth is out, and she knows it. But she's not done yet. She's too prideful to back down. You're lying, she snaps, her voice rising in pitch. This is ridiculous. All of this is a smear campaign. Her eyes flick to me, and then to the others in the room. You all think you can tear me down with baseless accusations? This is absurd. But her words fall flat, the force of them lost in the weight of the moment. No one's listening to her anymore. The battle lines have been drawn, and she's on the wrong side of them. Just as I'm about to speak again, I feel my phone vibrate in my pocket. It's a text from my friend Nina, a journalist who'd been quietly helping me gather information on Clarissa's shady dealings with the HOA. I glance down at the message. Check your email. My heart skips a beat. I quickly unlock my phone and pull up my inbox, scanning through the list of unread messages. One stands out, subject, security footage, community center. My pulse races as I open the email. Inside, there's a video attachment. It's not long, only about a minute, but my hands shake slightly as I tap play. The footage is from a security camera mounted near the entrance of the community center. The timestamp reads from 3 days ago, the night when the HOA board was meeting to review complaints, the night when Clarissa had been with several members of the board in a private session. In the video, Clarissa is seen entering the building with a man I immediately recognize, one of the HOA board members, Mr. Hill. They talk briefly, then head to the back room. What happens next takes my breath away. They don't talk about lawns or fences. They're not discussing rules. Instead, they're seen exchanging what looks like a stack of cash. Clarissa hands over a thick envelope, and Mr. Hill looks around, ensuring no one is watching. They both look over their shoulders, their faces shifting into grins as the transaction takes place. I can't believe my eyes.
It's a bribe.
The HOA isn't just enforcing rules. They're taking money in exchange for turning a blind eye to certain properties and only targeting others like mine. I don't hesitate. I stand, pulling the phone out of my pocket and holding it up for everyone to see. The room quiets as I tap the play button, and the video begins to play in front of them all. I watch the crowd's reactions, some gasps, some sharp intakes of breath. People are leaning in, trying to get a better view, and for the first time, I see fear in Clarissa's eyes. Her face pales, her fingers twitching at her sides. "No," she whispers, her voice barely audible, as if she's hoping the video will stop playing. "You can't, this isn't." But I'm not done. I turn the volume up, watching the silent video for another moment before tapping the screen to pause it. "You were right, Clarissa," I say, my voice ice cold. "You've been controlling this neighborhood for years. But now we all know how you've done it." The video plays again, and I see Clarissa's face on the screen, her smirk as she hands over the envelope, her power unchallenged, at least until now. This is the smoking gun, proof of corruption, proof of bribery. There's no denying it. Do you really think your money will fix this? I continue, my words laced with quiet fury. The neighborhood association isn't about rules and regulations. It's about lining your pockets. And you've been doing it at the expense of everyone who's been trying to make this place feel like home. Clarissa's face shifts from shock to anger, her hands trembling as she clenches them into fists at her sides. She opens her mouth to speak, but the words die on her lips when the door to the community center opens suddenly. I turn, and in walks Officer Patterson, one of the few authorities in the town who hasn't been swayed by Clarissa's influence. His eyes scan the room before landing on Clarissa. He takes a slow step forward, his face hardening as he looks from the screen to her. "I think we've seen enough," Officer Patterson says, his voice like steel. "Clarissa Delaney, you are under investigation for bribery and misconduct. Your actions have undermined the integrity of this entire community." Clarissa's mouth falls open, and for the first time in years, I see the mask she's worn slip completely away. She tries to speak, to argue, but her words are drowned out by the murmurs in the room. Her world is collapsing in front of her. The realization hits her like a truck. She looks to her right, then her left, as though hoping someone, anyone, will stand up for her. But the room is silent. No one is backing her now. Her grip on power is gone. I didn't do anything wrong," she stammers, but her voice wavers. There's no conviction behind it now. Only fear. Officer Patterson doesn't flinch. "We have more than enough evidence to take action. You're not in charge anymore, Clarissa. This is over." The finality of his words is like the last nail in her coffin. Clarissa tries to stand tall, but I can see it now, she's broken. And as she's led out of the room by Officer Patterson, the weight of the room's judgment presses down on her. The audience is no longer hers to command. Her downfall has begun. The weight of silence fills the room as Clarissa is escorted out by Officer Patterson, her face now a mask of fury and desperation. The door swings closed behind them, and for a moment, there's a collective breath, as if the entire neighborhood is holding its pulse in their chest, waiting for the next move. But the next move has already been made. The ground has shifted. Clarissa's reign is over. Outside, the sirens are already growing louder. It's not long before Clarissa's car is spotted, a flashing red and blue beacon marking the end of an era. The arrest will be swift. The charge is a mixture of bribery, abuse of authority, and public misconduct. The press will follow. The news vans will swarm like vultures. Her picture will be plastered across every screen, every paper. And the truth about what she's done, the way she manipulated the neighborhood for years, the way she used her power to target those she deemed undesirable, will come to light. As Officer Patterson steps back into the room, he nods at me. "We're going to need your statement," he says, his voice firm but respectful. This is just the beginning, but it's over for her. I nod. I want to speak, to say something powerful, but all I can do is breathe. This is what I fought for. This is why I pushed back. To see justice done, to feel it in the air around me, thick and undeniable. For the first time in months, I feel free. The neighbors stand up from their seats, slowly at first, but then with more confidence, more determination. There's a new energy in the room, a change in the air. Some of them approach me, Dave, a few others from the neighborhood. They offer their thanks, some shaking my hand, some patting me on the back. But I don't feel like I've done it for the praise. I did it because I had to. "Vanessa, you've changed everything," Dave says, his voice low, but sincere. "You made us see what we were ignoring." I nod, my eyes scanning the room, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and disbelief. I've lived in this neighborhood for years. I've watched it shift, watched it twist into something that no longer felt like home. But now, I see the glimmers of change. Not just in the faces around me, but in the way the air feels, like the ground is finally being cleared for something new. Something better. As the crowd begins to thin, some filing out to spread the news, others lingering, still in shock at what's happened, I glance over at the empty chair at the front of the room. The chair where Clarissa used to sit, ruling over all of us with her cruel smile and her whispered threats. It's empty now. And for the first time, the room feels right. It feels just. But it's not just the end of Clarissa's reign that gives me a sense of peace. It's the realization that the people in this neighborhood, my neighbors, my friends, are seeing things differently now. They're questioning their biases, their assumptions, the way they've allowed someone like Clarissa to manipulate them for so long. The seeds of change have been planted, and I know they'll grow. Walking out of the community center, I feel the sun on my face, brighter than it's been in weeks. It's the kind of sunlight that cuts through the shadows, that promises a fresh start. And I'm ready for it. Ready for whatever comes next. In the days that follow, Clarissa's name becomes a scandal. The HOA dissolves into chaos, with board members scrambling to distance themselves from the mess she's left behind. Her properties are suddenly under scrutiny, her business dealings exposed. The small empire she built on manipulation and fear crumbles to dust. And though some of her loyal followers try to defend her, the truth is too loud to ignore. The community, once fractured by her control, begins to come together. People start talking to each other again, sharing stories, experiences. The atmosphere in the neighborhood shifts from suspicion to solidarity. The press reports on Clarissa's arrest, her fall from grace, a cautionary tale. But for me, it's more than just a story. It's the moment when I finally feel like I've won, not just for myself, but for everyone who has been too afraid to stand up, too afraid to speak out. A few weeks later, I sit on my porch, watching the sun dip low on the horizon. The neighborhood feels different now. The air smells cleaner, fresher. The lawns are greener, the houses brighter. People wave as they walk by, nodding their heads, as if they know something important has changed. And they have. The dynamic of the entire community has shifted. I sip my coffee, and for the first time in a long time, I can breathe without that tight knot in my chest. The fight wasn't easy. The road wasn't smooth. But the justice we fought for? It's real. It's here. And the best part? The part that makes me smile to myself as the sky turns darker is that I didn't just win for me. I won for all of us.